Because Bandung is a special city for me, a special place, good friends and beautiful memories. Can you go out in Braga Street with your friends now?
Wish me luck. Oke, untuk penonton YouTube channelnya PRFM, sekarang saya bakalan ngobrol-ngobrol sama salah satu teman saya yang waktu itu kita sempat ketemu juga untuk ketemu di Malaysia. Masih sempat bisa keliling-keliling dan akhirnya meledaklah seputar COVID-19. Akhirnya saya bisa pulang, tapi teman saya ini masih berada di Malaysia. Saya pengen tahu keadaannya dia seperti apa sekarang, bagaimana situasi terkini, terutama untuk yang dalam artian warga negara asing terjebak di negara yang lain gitu ya. Ini akan seperti apa? Jadi saya akan langsung sapa saja teman saya. Hi Danny, how are you?
I'm great, Donna. How are you?
Thank you so much for your time. First of all, of course, I want to know how are you doing there, and then, of course, I want to know the recent situation. But first of all, I'm going to introduce you, or maybe just introduce yourself, your name and where you come from, and then where are you right now?
My name is Daniel. I'm sure some people in Bandung, I got quite a lot of friends in Bandung. If the viewership is going to be from there, maybe some of you already know me.
You're
I
famous.
come from, no, not.
You are.
I'm from Spain, from Barcelona. I'm right now in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Um, I
Can
came
you
here
call
yesterday.
yourself like stuck in Malaysia, or how do you call your situation right now?
Yeah, right now I'm glad to be in Malaysia. Before I felt I'm stuck here. I want to get out of here.
But how long? How did you start traveling? Like, what is the purpose of your trip? Actually, maybe you can tell the viewers.
Basically, I improvise most of my trips. I go somewhere. I make plan day to day or week to week. Yeah, I'm an improviser person.
When did you start
So
the
yeah,
trip? For this trip?
I started in October last year.
October.
Yes.
So in some country, the COVID-19 is already happening. Oh, it was like December, right? I think the
Yeah,
COVID-19 start blowing up.
yeah, just before New Year.
And then
Yeah.
where were you at that time? And then what was the first thing come up in your mind? Like, were you thinking about like, okay, I think this is the right time to go home now before it's getting big, or what were you thinking?
That's what my family told me many times.
Uh-huh.
But I believe in traveling.
So you just continue.
Yeah, in December, January, February, when the things it kind of became a big issue or a big news. During that time, I was in Japan. I was in Japan for 3 months. At that time, I was living in Kyoto, and then I traveled one side to the west side of Japan. When I started to hear about the Wuhan coronavirus, so I just at that time okay, it's this virus is happening in China, right? Like 99% it's in China. So okay, just I'm gonna avoid getting close to Chinese tourists at that time.
Mm-hmm. And then
Yeah.
you finally moved
And
to other country?
yeah, in the end of February, I moved to South Korea, which it was okay. I got informed it was about 30 cases at that time, which was the normal kind of low.
Mm-hmm.
And then the day after I arrived in South Korea, it happened the South Korean outbreak, which it was one of the first countries other than China to have a serious outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
And given this circumstance, I left. I was in a volunteer house. Um,
Mm-hmm.
helping with English conversation in an academy. And me and many other volunteers left to their country earlier than expected because the country could go on lockdown. I came here to Malaysia.
And when was that?
That
Still
was
February, March?
February, March. Yeah, I think end of February.
The end of the February. And then that was in Kuala Lumpur. First city is Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Like, did you move around or how is it?
I stayed in Kuala Lumpur, and then I got a friend here who had a wedding party of his family in Sarawak, is Borneo Island, and Malaysian Borneo. So he invited me. So I booked a flight to go with him, and then I was really unlucky. The day before I was going there, a new law came out for the Borneo. Malaysia has other laws that they didn't allow the entry of people coming from China, Korea, Italy, Iran, from the affected countries at the time. So I went there, and then they sent me back to Kuala Lumpur. And then I ended up in Penang, where I met you. That's the time when I met you. Yeah.
And start from we met at that time until, because it was like quite a long time you stay in Penang, even like until you said like yesterday. Like, how long did you stay in Penang?
So from March, from middle of March, something like that.
Until
I stayed 3.5 months, I think. I kind of lost track, but yeah.
You don't remember, like you don't know what day is it, what date is today, like you don't care, just like stay. But how people treat you, because like I know in some countries the local people kind of feel afraid with foreigner, especially like if you are white, like people know that you are a foreigner, like they try to avoid you. How they treat you actually?
Yeah, I felt that in the beginning. When the coronavirus got really bad in Europe, America, we took an attitude that foreigners are dangerous here in Asia, and just stay away from them. Like, they don't know if you are coming from your country, which is in a chaotic situation.
So
I
you
don't
felt the
know.
discrimination. Do you remember like a certain how to call it, like a moment when you feel like, oh yeah, this guy don't like me because I'm a foreigner? Do you remember any certain situation?
No, it was it was not. Never happened to be an obvious situation like that, and perhaps everyone at that time, everyone wants to stay far from each other. When Malaysia, Indonesia started to get in the lockdown society, so I don't feel I'm more discriminate. I don't feel I'm discriminated, but I'm sure I'm a little bit discriminated. For example, the media was talking about the irresponsibility of travelers, people trying to, it's not allowed to do anything except going to the grocery shop. So they kind of blame people for being in the street. They see the foreigners, they don't take it serious, even though they are not getting in contact with other people. If they are alone in the beach, they are breaking the law.
I know what you mean, because sometimes like I heard story about like some traveler got discrimination because you are part of the situation that you going around and you spreading the virus and something like that, right? Like a lot of people like, why don't you go back to your country? Why you keep traveling in this situation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And because like some people don't know the situation, but maybe people are even like our viewers in YouTube video, in our YouTube channel, want to know why you decided to finally stay in Malaysia. Because for me at that time, it's so difficult to go back home because the price of the ticket flight is really crazy. Like it's like really expensive. But what is your reason?
I was feeling comfortable at that time in Malaysia.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm thinking I'm gonna probably leaving the country before the lockdown, and actually this will surprise you. I was gonna buy a ticket to Indonesia the day before Indonesia closed the borders. It happened that I went to a beach and I got stung by a jellyfish, and then I felt like I had fever. I felt like I had fever.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, I waited for the next day to. I waited. I went to sleep, and the next day, I would book a ticket. And
Mm-hmm.
when I was gonna book a ticket to, I was going to Medan in Sumatra.
Mm-hmm.
When I was gonna do that, the tickets were gone because all the Indonesians living in Penang, I guess they bought the ticket in a hurry.
Ah, so you finally,
Yeah.
it's too late for you to leave Malaysia and come to Indonesia. But do you have any plan? What is the recent situation in Spain?
Spain at some point was one of the worst countries in the world, if not the worst. It's been on a kind of strict lockdown,
Mm-hmm.
and the situation, I think it's much better, less cases, less deaths. My family can finally meet after 2 months locked at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the impressions I get when I talk with my family, and when I see my friends gathering again, is that things are getting better, and it's not anymore a bad idea to come back to my country. I'm just I don't follow too much, so I don't know if now it's required to do quarantine
Mm-hmm.
or not. Yeah. So if the country doesn't require to go quarantine,
Do you have plan to go back home, or what is your plan
yeah, my plan is to go to Spain in August.
in August? I see.
Yes.
So if I can recap, so basically, when everything has happened in the beginning, the situation in Spain is actually one of the worst situations. So you feel safer to be in like Malaysia compared to if you
Yes.
go back to your country. Now Spain is better, but I think the international flight is still not available, right?
It is from Malaysia.
Uh huh.
You can go to Middle East or Turkey, and
Mm-hmm.
then to Europe, and the prices are getting more affordable.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, we are
So.
talking about
Uh-huh.
$400-500, maybe, to
Mm-hmm.
for me to go to Spain.
Do you still can go out and what is the protocol there? Like you wear a mask or how is it the situation for you right now in Malaysia?
In Malaysia, it's quite laid back. You have to register, take your temperature and register your name and phone
Mm-hmm.
pretty much everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel the society got used to living with this, and it's not kind of panic anymore. Yeah,
So you're
it does.
good, right?
Yeah, I don't feel the stress.
I guess that's the most important thing that you are
Mm.
healthy. Now everything is settled, I guess, until you finally can go back. Like because you have planned to visit Indonesia soon if you can.
Yeah, relatively soon.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a lot of plans on my mind.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I'm gonna, maybe the day I decide to go to Indonesia is the day before. So yeah, it's possible that I will come to Indonesia this year, and if not next year, because Bandung is a special city for me, a special place. I
Mm-hmm.
have good friends and beautiful memories. how is it? For example, can you go out in Braga Street with your friends now?
Right now, people can go out. The limited movement right now is already end, and now we start the new normal. People can go out, but of course, wearing mask, physical distancing. The store is open, the mall is open, but yeah, it's still limited. Like the touristic area is only like for um, how to call it, like internal province. Like you can go to each cities, but only like in from, for example, Bandung in West Java, tourists only come from West Java, not from other province. But now
Okay.
it's, yeah, I'm not sure about the international flight. Need to check that again, but I think it's getting better. Hope to get better and
Ah,
better in future.